Did you put the campaign in Instagram stories where it's very easy for someone to click a link and immediately go?
Hello, listeners, viewers. Welcome back to another episode of Mastering E-commerce Marketing. I'm your host, Eitan Koter, and today we have Megan Vasquez with us. Megan is the Director of Creator Strategy and Strategic Marketing at Grin. Megan, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, the creator economy is such an exciting topic. Things are changing so fast, right? But Megan, before we dive in, if you can choose like 3 words that are most important to you, maybe describe you the best and why.
So wow. I think first kind. I've tried to lead throughout my entire career and in my life with kindness. And they say nice guys finish last. So it might have taken me a long time to get where I'm at, but I was faithful to that, always being kind and leading with empathy. The next would be tenacious. Definitely never forgetting that I am who I think I am. Of course, in a kind and gentle way, but being faithful and that I know what I know. I'm confident in the things that I know. And taking that into every room that I'm in. And the last one would probably be I want to say confident, but I feel like that's just like almost like a riff off of the one before it.
I think it's a different version of it, right?
So it's a different version of the same thing, right? Yeah, of course, like a constant belief. So maybe the term is faithful to myself, faithful to the things that I believe in, faithful to my own drive that I will succeed. I think that that's been important because if you don't believe in what you're doing, how can you get people on board with what you're doing?
Yes. We are spending so much time just figuring out with ourselves where we want to go, what we want to achieve, and try to fight with our limiting beliefs always, right? And sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We need some help from time to time, but overall, we need to have this solid foundation that we can win, right? It doesn't matter.
You have to. It's here. If you can't convince yourself here, you will drag that negative self-talk into every room. Like people can smell it on you. Even if you're unsure in your mind, you have to be sure.
Also, confidence is being unsure and just be transparent about it. This is another type of confidence, right? But it's part of, I think, modern, work. And obviously, being an executive in a growing company, some of these foundations that you just shared are so important. So really appreciate the effort, and thank you so much for sharing it, Megan.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, what's happening in the creator economy? How do you feel about it in general? And then we can dive into various topics about it.
Well, it's growing. It keeps growing. I think when I started, there was this like notion that it was going to fizzle out and that it was this fad and it was going to pass, but it has continued to kind of evolve and grow over time. Every year it becomes bigger. Every year it generates more money. I think that what I'm seeing now, it's become less of like this fun thing that we do in marketing, which is how I feel like executives always used to perceive it. Like, oh, it's just this fun little activation that they're doing. And now they're realizing that we can actually drive very meaningful and significant ROI on these campaigns. That there is a lot of data and analytics that go into making sure that these campaigns are successful. It's not just like playing dress up online. It is very strategic. And so now we have the C-suite's ear. We have their eyes and their ear. And what comes with that is a need to have this layer of accountability. So what I'm seeing in the industry is that there is a call for us as marketers to be very, very specific about how these campaigns affect the bottom line. The attribution has to be pristine, which we all know is very difficult to do, but not impossible. So with having a seat at the table comes an immense amount of responsibility. We can't just come to meetings and business reviews anymore and say, oh, the post got 1 million likes. Nobody cares about that. But they do not care. They really want to know, what is this driving? What is the halo effect? And so we have grown beyond just these simple activations into like analysts, and it's become very strategic. And I love that for everybody involved, because it gives you credibility, and it means that this channel is becoming an actual defined growth channel instead of just like a very top funnel brand awareness play. So that's exciting. That's how I've seen it shift.
100%. I mean, I think brands realize today that creator-led content is much better than a brand-led content, right? So that's already proven across any type of research and data, right? And that's definitely the right approach to go. And I know a lot of brands that this is just their primary strategies, and for other brands, it's just kind of a still proceeds an awareness channel, right? Which is,
Yeah.
it'll be like a top of funnel geek or something like that, right? So, but Megan, more specifically about you, I mean, I know that you are dealing with brands, obviously with the talent side. There's a lot of tech involved in the middle, and you mentioned some data and analytics tools. I mean, what's the scope of your responsibility in terms of being a successful leader, right, in this space?
Yeah, I think in this space, if you're going to be a successful leader, you have to kind of trickle down to your team being data minded. So we get very blinded by flash and glam, and especially if you're a consumer of online content, I might be like, I love this person. Like, oh my God, I'm fangirling to get to work with her. But you have to like go beneath the surface. So I've managed large teams. Obviously now I work more closely with brands. I work more closely with creators directly. But the thing that's been something that's like kind of trickled down to everybody is we have to be data led. So if you're a creator, you need to be providing like very specific data insights to brand partners, because then that's what's going to make them activate you, right? Like, oh, this is a serious person. They're showing us reach, customer demographics. They're telling us how their audience matches our customer base. Like, as of someone on the brand side, that's huge. They're doing most of the work for you. So immediately that person's at the top of my list to activate. If you're on the brand side, you have to know how to ingest that data and compare it. If you have an e-commerce site and you know what your on-site conversion rate is and what your average order value is, you can take insights from the influencer, like their reach and their link clicks, and now you have like a very predictable forecasting model as to how much revenue can this person drive. They're going to refer this much traffic, this many people click the link. Based on our on-site data, this is how many people convert, and this is what we can project. Now you have an actual forecasting model that you can share with your leadership team to actually secure budgets ahead of time so that you can actually plan out campaigns for the rest of the year. So I think for me, it's like educating everybody every step of the way. Like, it's not a complicated formula, but if you can master it, you will have so much success in scaling, not just starting your campaigns, but scaling them.
Yeah. In terms of, you mentioned scaling, and for you at Grin, right? I mean, you have the platform to manage those type of transactions, but obviously there's a lot of like different type of transactions which are more hand-holding, right? Require more services. How do you see the market? Because initially, and we run a SaaS company as well, our initial dream was, hey, sort of service, right? Let's just put it out there, let's market it, and that's the stakeholders of a platform, brands, creator, just try to figure things out. We are in the video commerce space, so it's a one type of client, but you are in the section of brands and creators. How do you see this kind of a self-service transactions versus more hand holding, and do you see any shift, maybe a thing changing in this respect?
Yeah, I do think like specifically in the SaaS world, like initially we want to provide an operating system to teams so that they can execute all these different components from one single platform. And Grin does that very well. But I do know that also brands that may be out of reach or unattainable for small brands, family run brands, brands that are just getting started. Like, maybe you don't have $150,000 a year to spend on tech. You're doing everything manually. You're doing everything in a very disjointed manner. Things fall through the cracks. So we were like, how can we really like meet the target market somewhere in the middle where we have our incredible operating system that is still available, but now also a self-serve option where you can try Grin free for 30 days. You can sign up without a contract. You can get month-to-month pricing. And you can have a tech available to you that is a little bit more accessible. And obviously now Grin is very much focusing on this AI layer, because what we see in marketing is that things are very fragmented, right? And marketers at every level, even all the way up to like VP and like senior director levels, are very bogged down in the minutia of all of these different components. Even when you have great tech, like there's still internal things. You have to deal with finance, you have to deal with paid and other and cross-functional partners. So for us, it was like, and then influencer is so different from paid media, right? So paid media is like you and a platform. When you are doing influencer, it's you, a platform, and 10,000 human beings with their own opinions and ideas. So it's like lots of hand-holding required, especially on the creator side. We thought if AI was here to take some of that administrative burden off of these teams, it would give them the opportunity to actually think strategically, think big picture. I can't tell you how many times in my career, like I would be in a performance review and my boss would be like, I want you to like go for it. I want you to be like having huge ideas. And I'm like, I do, but I'm in like a 67 thread email chain with like 20 different people at any given time, negotiating rates, negotiating contracts, reaching out to people. And it's hard for me to think outside the box when I feel very confined by like this administrative headache. So I really see AI coming in to lift that and like free us from that. AI is a tool. I think no one should be afraid of it, but it is a tool that is ultimately going to help us be able to scale teams and programs a lot more efficiently, because we're not going to like have this layer of administrative headache. So I feel like that's like the three components. It's like trying to offer everything to everyone.
Obviously, there's a lot of AI advantages in terms of the delivery aspect, the platform, the serviceability, let's say, of the various services that you guys provide. But AI is also part of content creation and part of AI creators and AI avatars. And what are your thoughts on this? How do you see this influencing this market?
So I have a lot of thoughts about that, and I have a lot of thoughts about it from the audience perspective. I do feel like over the course of like the past 10 years, audiences have gotten so smart. They're so smart. They are so savvy. They are so in tune to what's going on our side, more so than they have ever been in the past. Like I feel like the curtain has like just kind of fallen, and I don't know that audiences are going to be as receptive to AI generated content as they are. I feel like they will be able to almost sniff it out, and it will cause them to lose trust. Now, I do think that AI is incredibly helpful in ideating processes. I do think that it can help you when you get stuck. It can help you understand the best hooks to use. So I see AI as a tool and a layer. I don't know how audiences are going to perceive things like, obviously now we have like AI musicians that are actually like releasing songs and they're charting. We do have AI creators that are doing social shopping. That's been something that we've been seeing for a while. I don't think it's like made it to the States as quickly as it's made it to like other major.
The live shopping host, right, which are AI based in China, you mean?
We see that on China. Yeah, lots of big China on very much on the forefront of for us shopping too. And we're just kind of like trailing along. So I see it happening. So I don't ever think to myself, oh, that would never happen. I just know that for brands, we see the most success when these creators have such a inherent trust base built in with their audience, almost to the point that it becomes parasocial. Like you feel like this person is your friend. So if this person is recommending a product to you, you are so much more inclined to purchase it. And I worry that the trust and the human factor is missing. However, I do think that for people that are leveraging content for a lot of paid, so they're looking to have a content engine to fuel their paid channels, their Meta, everything else, TikTok ads. So that I see an opportunity there in terms of design, and almost like stage studio photos. I come from the beauty world. The amount of money that we spend on photo shoots and still images of products is crazy. Those products don't perform as well anymore. User-generated content generally performs better, but in beauty, we still need them. So I do see brands like leaning on AI for things like that, and able to get really fresh assets out quickly. I don't know about the AI content for trust.
Yeah. I mean, I believe we know it's part of the mix. Brands are using definitely, AI avatars. Usually, yeah, I mean, there is some, segment in the market that is okay just receiving content from AI. Obviously, it can't be the overall brand strategy, just trying to, cut cost and just, do marketing on AI avatar. That is definitely is not going to work. But if it's like a smaller percentage of the overall creative plan, then I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I think users can, as you said, immediately figure this out, and we know that authenticity is just the most important thing, right? And just speaking about authenticity, obviously TikTok Shop changed a lot of things and just created this new category of creators, or what they call affiliates, that are able not just to build awareness or brand loyalty, but that can also promote sales and focus more on the conversion aspect, right, of the creativity. What do you see happening with brands? Because traditionally it was kind of a brand awareness channel, right? But now it can be also a conversion channel in all these platforms. So things are changing with that respect as well.
Yeah. I spent much of my career, like I said, in beauty, and then I spent some time at agency. It was all very top funnel. And then I ended up at an e-commerce aggregator, actually an Amazon aggregator called Brasio. And we had like at our peak, like 200 brands. And that was my first time, especially because they serviced mostly Amazon native companies. And we know that Amazon borrows so much of your brand identity when you retail there, that it was less so, right, about the top funnel. Like that we weren't really focused on that. That was very much a culture shock for me as a company. Oh, you don't care about. Yeah, some of our brands didn't even have Instagram accounts. Like there was no need to build a lot of equity in like who the brand was. We just needed to talk about why the product was good and have influencers communicate that. And we needed to generate sales quickly and attribute them. So that was a very powerful exercise for me in learning how to be very bottom funnel focused. It taught me how to look at creators. At this point, I have it down to a science where I can look at a creator and say, oh, this person can sell versus who can't. And then I think TikTok took that and absolutely just put a turbo engine in it and just took it to the moon. I'm fascinated with the flywheel that happens on TikTok with products and people speaking about them at volume. It's actually just so incredible. I was not a believer. Like I was not an early adopter of TikTok Shop. I thought people were going to find it annoying. People probably still do, but I hit buy probably once or twice some. Absolutely. I always tell like my leadership teams, like I am the consumer. So I'm the first person I put to the test because I'm the consummate like consumer of things. I like to buy things. I like to watch people try things and open them. So once or twice a month, I purchase something on the TikTok Shop. I am a huge believer now in social shopping. I love the model. I love the way that the flywheel works there. It's just been done so well. Like if any this, yeah, good job.
Very nice. I mean, one of the strongest aspects of what's happening in TikTok is the discovery aspect of it. I mean, like in Black Friday, November month was just a crazy spike in sales because people just search for things on TikTok and versus other platform and just finalize the checkout within the TikTok Shop environment. So this was a very powerful, I think. Yes. begin the journey and just check out on the same platform, which is really, really nice.
Well, the algorithms are also just so specific. Like, how did you know I couldn't think of 10 stocking stuffers to get my children? And you recommended me a video that shows me 10 that I can buy right now. It's just, it's so well done. And I love that if I drop something in my cart and I'm like in a consideration phase, I get 20 more videos that convince me. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. And that's not so different than what we've been doing without, obviously, TikTok is an ecosystem. But that's not so different than the way that we do it, like in a more traditional marketing mix. Look, that you need a lot of different people working together to make those things happen.
Okay, nice. So Megan, when you audit a creator or affiliate program, what are the most common mistakes that you see that quietly kill, performance?
I think people neglect brand affinity a lot. I think that especially when you're running an affiliate program, and brands love affiliate programs because it's a very low barrier to entry. It's all ROI positive, right? So we love an affiliate program, but when people get started, I think people neglect brand affinity that's already existing. I think you should leverage a lot of social listening if you were going to do one thing, like invest in a social listening tool so you can find who's already talking about your brand. And then that's a very quick way to activate them. You love our brand, talk about it all the time. Let me incentivize you. Let me give you a code. Let me pay you a commission if you refer people. So I feel like people miss that layer a lot, and that's always where you should start. That's the lowest hanging fruit. Huge mistake I see people make, and especially the people who fail really early on in influencer, they get very jaded about it. They're like, I tried it. I spent a bunch of money. It didn't work. Is you're paying people to talk about your product, and you have a different expectation than what that creator is capable of. If a creator can sell, there's very specific markers you can look for to tell you that. That's somebody if you're looking for hard sales and conversions, you don't want to just be activating somebody who posts pretty pictures on a grid, right? That person, people follow that person for aspirational purposes. They follow that person because it's a beautiful visual that they like to consume. They're probably not following them for day-to-day product recommendations, and they're probably not going to jump to purchase. But somebody who talks about products all the time, and whose audience already inherently trusts them, that's somebody you'd want to convert on like a bottom of the funnel campaign. You just want content. If you just want beautiful content out about your brand, it's just make sure the person that you're activating is aligned. A lot of people make that mistake, and they're like, we didn't make any sales. And it's like, was the campaign set up for them to make a sale? Did you put the campaign in Instagram stories where it's very easy for someone to click a link and immediately go? Or did you put the campaign in Feed where you can't link? They have to now remember the URL, get out of the app, the attribution, do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yes, use friction, of course. Use stories, the other links.
and like I've had so many people tell me, why do you always do stories? Like it's 24 hours and it's gone. Like what's the long-term impact of that? And I'm like, because there's no friction for them to purchase. I'll send you the sales report at the end of the month and you're going to be like, oh, that's why you always activate people for it. Like, yeah, it's only up for 24 hours, but I'm not looking for something to live forever. I want them to make sales now. If I wanted a pretty picture that was up for all of eternity, I would have activated someone else, right?
Sure. And where do you see the biggest gap between how brands think creators work and how creators actually operate?
That's a good question. I think that brands a lot of the time are so swept up in their own internal creative briefs, style guides, messaging, and they miss the fact that what makes social media so fun is that people are able to inject their personality into it. So I always say, like, don't overbrief your creators. Obviously, if it's sensitive, make sure you say, hey, don't make these claims, like that, go without saying.
What to say, right? Is probably focused not to say.
Yeah, you can't say that like this made you like skinniest and funniest and best person in the world because we took this one supplement. Like, you can't say things like that. You can't say you de-aged 25 years from using a skincare cream. That didn't happen. So like give them claims, but do not force them to become essentially an extension of your brand. They should be a person with their own style and ideas and like way they like to speak to their audience who just happens to like and enjoy your product. So I feel like like I said, audiences are very smart. They can totally tell when somebody gets on screen and it feels like an infomercial. And they're like, where's the funny person that I follow? Like, this feels like QVC. This doesn't feel like you. Like, they can immediately sense that. And I see it a lot with legacy brands, like very large brands that have existed forever. They're very rigid with their style guides, whereas like newer, fun e-commerce or D2C brands are like, just be just use it the way you would use it naturally. And that's why I think you see legacy brands struggle so much in this channel. Yeah. And you see these cool up and coming D2C brands just absolutely killing.
Yes. I mean, with the biggest brand, they have some variety of legal and privacy concerns
Yeah.
care about. And yeah, the emerging brands like the D2C brands that are more agile and just having this mindset of giving users, the creators, to provide, as you said, bring in their personality, be authentic, even being vulnerable, right? Which I think is
Yeah.
super important as the next stage after authenticity, right? Which I think is working very, very well. Um, Megan, I want to talk to you about the long-term view, right, of brands when they're engaging creator. It's not a short-term kind of a gig, right? I mean, those who are performing very, very good. How do you recommend brands strong relationship with creators, even make them like a brand ambassador?
Yeah. I think if you see somebody who the audience responds, you can see it in the comments, you can see it in the engagement, you can see it in the traffic, you can see it in the sales, depending on what your objective is. If you see success, what I like to do is I like to just put them on a long-term contract. So I'll basically say, depending on what my budget is, let me give you one contract. You'll have a deliverable once a quarter. You decide if you want it to be different products, if you want it to be all the same product, but get just something set up. Make your life easier. It makes the influencer's life easier. If they have a management team, the management team will love you for that. For you, you don't have to just do 4 contracts a year, 5, 6, 7. You can do one. Get people like that on a long-term deal because I don't believe so much in fatigue of the audience. I think that if anything else, it's just going to foster more trust in the audience. And it gives them also an opportunity to activate on like moments. So for example, I had someone I put on a long-term contract for a stain remover brand, and she was amazing because every time like someone would ask her about it, she would take that as an opportunity to activate and say, I have a code, I have a short-term promo, like run and get it. So it just allows them to be a little bit more nimble because they know that they have the ability to activate multiple times throughout the year. So you can like act on moments like that, right? Or one time I had someone whose daughter, same brand, it was like a stain remover company. Her daughter Sharpied like a brand new, beautiful restoration hardware chair, Sharpie all over it. And she was like, hey, my daughter Sharpied the chair. Like, I think this is probably a good time for me to film this and we can like go live with this as content. So it makes everybody more nimble. Definitely activate people long-term that perform well. You want those to be like your most intimate fostered relationships that you have because they're just going to bring their audience with them. Like that's all new customer acquisition for you long-term. And
Yeah, yeah. What are your KPIs today for a successful campaign?
for me, I think successful campaign, depending on where it's going up, is obviously I like to see clicks. Link clicks are a huge KPI for me. That just shows me intent, audience, that the audience responded, that the audience had intent. Whether or not they converted once they landed on site is another thing to troubleshoot, but I like to look at clicks. I think I look a lot in the comment. If something is going in feed, and even if it doesn't go in feed, even if it goes in stories, I'll follow up with the influencer later and say, what was the response? Like, did you get any negative responses? Sometimes people are a little bit more bold in Instagram story DMs. So I'm like, what did it sound like? Were people excited? So I like to know, like, what is the audience sentiment? How do they feel? That's a huge KPI for me. So, and then I think just always conversions, huge. That's not a KPI for everyone. I think it varies program to program. but I focus very heavily on like conversion-based campaigns. I think that that's the easiest way kind of for us to sing for our supper and keep budgets rolling in and keep approvals rolling in, is to make sure that you're, getting ROI positive on your budget. So I like to see conversion too, clean attribution.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the difficult part, right? How to
Yeah, it's conversion.
we know about the halo effect, and we know that people like to consume content and just check out online, maybe pick up in store. I mean, you don't know where it started. I mean, the journey really, maybe discovery on TikTok, eventually created a checkout on your Amazon or even on your Shopify. So it's very, very difficult. Or AI helps a lot, right? That's just one of the problems with data, because there's too much, right? And each platform providing a siloed kind of information. Obviously, there are tools who can just analyze everything. I think this is one of the biggest pain, probably struggles of marketers these days, just to try to figure out what's really happening. Man. It's a huge amount of information, and what do you ask? I mean, what's the question you want to answer? Yeah, I think it's vast information.
It's so hard. I mean, it's so hard. But halo effects are real. Whether or not full work, although you should quantify it, yeah, even though you can't quantify it, the correlations can absolutely be made. If you're an Amazon company and you jump 100 points in the rankings and now you're the number 3 product and you had a huge influencer go live, you could probably put 2 and 2 together. But the halo effect is real. I wish there was a way that we link with a science, right?
Great, great. So Megan, what's important for you and Grin in terms of plans for 2026? What kind of customers you are looking at? Which kind of type of customers you want to attract? What's your story for the year?
Yeah. Our story at Grin for the year, I think our goal for the year is we are reinventing parts of ourselves to meet the market and our customers where they are. So that means being a little bit disruptive by bringing in AI. I mean, in marketing, marketers tend to be late adopters of tech, which is interesting. But we like do things manually for a lot longer than we should. It's like we're almost very protective of things like that. So AI is scary. I understand that. So we're trying to pull the veil back on a lot of that it's not scary. It's a tool. Again, with self-serve that launches today, bringing a product to a different segment of the market who needs to get started quickly. They don't want to have a long-term 12-month contract going back and forth legal. They want to just go today and build a program. Meeting that part of the market there. And then also creators. We're building now a product that is creator facing to remove some of that friction, that operational friction for the creators as well. We work a lot to simplify ops with brands, but I don't think anybody has really listened to creators. They are also very much bogged down in the minutia of email inboxes, going back and forth with pitching, keeping their stats clean. And if you can't afford to pay a management company to do all of those things for you, you're almost limiting yourself and hitting a ceiling operationally. So we're also looking to create experiences and products for creators that help them address that. So we're meeting everybody where they are in 2026, trying to bring, the best solution to the market and just keep the industry moving forward.
Super, super interesting. Megan, and how people can find you and Grin?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find Grin obviously on LinkedIn. It's GRIN, all caps. I'm Megan Vasquez. Also find me on LinkedIn, and definitely follow us on Instagram. It's at Grow with Grit.
Great. And anything else you want to add?
If you want to sign up for self-serve and get started with Grin today, just go to grin.co/get started, and you can literally sign up for a free 30-day trial today and get started.
Great. Megan, super interesting. Love this episode. A lot of energy. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.